Hey, this is Nick from Income Digs. Welcome to this video tutorial where I show you the technology and the processes I use within my real estate investing business. And today we're talking about document creation and automating document creation within your business, whether it be real estate or any other small business. All right, so this is a huge problem that we're all trying to solve, right? We have templated documents, kind of standard boilerplate documents that we need to generate at various times within our workflow. For example, we have leases, we have renewal notices, we have, in the case I'm going to demonstrate today, welcome packets for our tenants, where it's the same document every single time. We know that the information, the data, exists somewhere within our system, our CRM. In this case, I'm going to demonstrate with Podio, and we want to be able to pull that information out to generate a document. All right, so you've seen me demonstrate that with solutions like PandaDoc as well as RightSignature, which are really great solutions, especially if you want e-signature. But what I'm going to show you today is actually something where we use Google Docs to accomplish this. And why I really like this solution is kind of new. I actually had a client that we were working through a use case, and it became a really great idea to do this. And why I love this idea, 3 reasons, okay? The first is that Google Drive, Google Docs is super cheap, if not free. Okay, so if cost is an issue, PandaDoc is pretty darn expensive, so is RightSignature. So Google Docs is really inexpensive. The second thing is the template setup is really easy. Google Docs has gotten really good. It's just as good, if not better, than Word as far as formatting the document. So we can get it to look exactly like we want. We can insert pictures. It looks just perfect. All right, and the third, which I don't think any other solution has, is this ability to edit the document after we've created it, which is super exciting. Okay, so if you're interested in that, definitely stay with me. I'm going to show you how to generate a document from information that lives within Podio as a Google Doc, and then be able to edit it after. All right, we're going to be using Zapier for this. A little bit technical, kind of, but there's no coding. It's just using Podio, Zapier, and Google Drive. All right, so if you're interested in that, stick with me. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it step by step. All right, so as we're looking at the screen right now, I have on here Podio. Okay, and what I have in Podio is a renters app. All right, you see my renter up here, my unit, and we're kind of envisioning that this renter is brand new, and we're getting ready to send them what I'm calling a welcome packet. Okay, so just a document that says, welcome to the unit, here's the information, here is my contact info, here's when garbage day is, all that kind of stuff, okay? So we hold the information in Podio, right? Their name, the unit, the date they move in, etc. All right, and then the unit holds information like garbage day, okay? And then within Google Docs, you're gonna set up a template, okay? Some kind of template. And right here you can see my tenant for the welcome packet, and Google Docs allows you to use these double brackets to identify what we call merge fields, okay? Now I've highlighted them just so we can see them. You don't need to highlight them at all. You can get rid of the highlighting completely. And because we can edit this document, you might want to just keep the highlighting there so that you can identify the merge fields when it's done, and then we can get rid of the highlighting later. Okay, so here's my welcome packet. I'm going to bring in the property and unit. I'm going to bring in the address of the unit, the start date, the end date, the renewal date, the tenant's name. Okay, I'm going to bring in the address here again. And if we keep going down, I'm actually going to bring in the garbage day as well. All right, so that my tenants, I can tell them, hey, on this day, you need to take out the garbage. Okay, so this is the template that I set up. And to get this set up, you can take your document, whether it's a Word document, upload it, convert it to a Google Doc. The conversion works really well, and then you can mess with it to make it look perfect. Okay, so that's your template. You're going to need to have that set up and ready to go. You're also, for what I'm going to demonstrate, you're going to need Zapier. Okay, you can certainly do this with a custom API, but if you're like me, you're not really interested in all that coding stuff, so we're going to do it with Zapier. All right, so what we want to do is when I'm on my renter and I click Prep Welcome Packet, I want this system I want Zapier to go out, use that template, generate the document, and then I want it to bring it back here. All right, that's my favorite part. That's at number 3 where I can edit it. I'm going to show you how that works. All right, so let's get into Zapier. Okay, so I'm going to create a brand new Zap. And here is my advice when it comes to Zapier, specifically when it comes to Podio. You get a sample ready for which you know the value of the merge fields, because it's easier to kind of search for the fields when you know the value. So for example, I know this guy's name, I know the unit, as opposed to looking just for the field name, all right? And it's always a good idea to kind of prep it and then do what you're gonna do with the Zap so that you can test it as you go. So I'm gonna change this to prep. Well, actually, let's get set up here. So the first thing I'm gonna do is go Podio, because Podio is the first triggering event. And I'm just going to identify that when an item is updated, I want this to run. All right, I'm going to choose my Podio account, so you can just kind of set that up with your login. And I'm going to tell it where this app lives. It's in my workspace, my property management workspace, okay? Oh, whoops, I just hit the back button, so I got to do that again. Okay, so application is my renters down here. All right, so that's good. And then when you're kind of ready, go ahead and do the trigger that you want. So prep welcome packet, so that when you tell Zapier to go and look for test data, which I certainly recommend you do, test and review, it can hopefully find that item. And once it finds that item, it's going to bring in all of the values so that you can know if things are working well. All right, so looks like it found one, and I can click this down arrow to see what it found. Some of the information might not be too useful, but there you see the guy's name, okay? So cool, we got it. All right, now I do need to add a filter, because I only want this to run when the status is, or when that changed from prep to prep welcome packet. Okay, so I'm gonna do a filter, only continue. And here's where knowing those values comes into play. Like if I were to search, trigger, if I were to search intro email, it'd be kind of harder to find. But if I just start typing prep welcome packet, you can find it easier. So, see, like sometimes it won't even bring in the name. It's kind of weird. But if I know it's prep welcome packet, this is the field, this is the value, I know that it's grabbing the right one. All right, you want it to exactly match prep welcome packet. And why do you want it to do that? You don't want it to run when it goes into those other ones, okay? And so now I can click continue and the system will do a quick test and it would have continued. Great. So I'm done editing that, okay? Now I'm gonna go into Google Drive, and the idea here is that I want to find a folder to store the document that I'm gonna create. And so what I do is I'll do Google Drive. There's Google Drive and there's Google Docs. They work similarly. Okay, so I'm going to say, find a folder, okay? And, okay, what account? So you gotta connect your account. And I'm gonna say, find a folder whose name equals the name of this tenant, okay? So Herman, all right? And where is this folder located? Let's see here. Actually, or what drive? My Google Drive. And then where is this folder located? I actually have a tenants folder here. Now in my tenants folder, it's currently blank, but what's cool about this is I can click the create a new one if it can't find it. So folder, I'm gonna do tenants, okay? And then I'm gonna do create Google Drive folder. Oh, whoops. I'm trying to find a file. So my bad, I just did the wrong one. So just bear with me. I'm just gonna do this again. So Google Drive, I need to find a folder, not a document. Okay, so this is gonna be find a folder. So this will work a little bit better, hopefully. And so now I'm looking for a folder name that equals my tenant's name, Herman. All right, in my drive, and my parent folder is that tenants folder, okay? And now I'm going to create a new folder if that one doesn't exist. And so when I click continue, and then I'm gonna click test, the system's gonna go out and do that search, and hopefully it's going to create a new folder for that tenant. And so that's why this testing is really important. You can really go step by step and make sure it all works. All right, and it looks like it worked. All right, so there's the folder it was created. And that's important because we're gonna store the file that we create in that folder. All right, so let's continue on here. All right, so now that I've created that folder, I'm going to now create a document from a template. So now I'm going to go Google Docs. Okay, and so with Google Docs, I am going to create a document from a template. All right, click Continue. And it's asking what template do you want to use? I'm sorry, what account do you want to use? And now it'll ask me what template do I want to use. So template document, and I happen to have this called tenant welcome packet right there. And what do we want to call the document? So I'm going to call this document, I'm going to name it, I'm going to bring in the tenant's name, and then I'm going to do a dash welcome packet, okay? Where should the folder be stored? Instead of just the root, I'm going to grab the value from the folder I just created. So you can go down to use custom value, and here you can go here, find or create folder, and you can just pull in the ID. And just make sure this root is out of the way, okay? So that looks good, and now I'm going to start populating those merge fields. So the Zapier is finding these merge fields that I've created, okay? So I'm going to start populating these. And here's where it's really important if you know the values. So for example, I know that this unit is called 264 Union Apartment 1. So I can start typing it and find that value. Now the property is just, in the way that I name things, it's just 264 Union. So there's that one. The unit itself is just at Apartment 1. Okay. The city, I know it's Hamburg, so I can just start typing Hamburg. All right, the state I know is New York. It just saves a ton of time. Like, and here's what I mean by that. If I were to just click item updated and try to find those fields, look how much Podio gives you. It gives you a ton of useful information, but also kind of a lot of junk. So just knowing that can really help to dwindle down the search. So my zip code I know is 14075. I can type that in and it'll find it. So here we have 3 dates: my move-in date, my move-out date, and my renewal date. And what's interesting about this, if I were to find these are kind of harder to find because you're not sure how they're formatted. So I might do, I think it's called move-in. So I'll try to find that. Yep, and it's kind of messed up. So look at this. So 2020 2/1, so it's February 1st, 2020. So I can bring that in, but I can also use Zapier's formatter, all right, which I'm actually going to do in an earlier step. Okay, so let me just back up here, and I'm just going to add a step for somewhere before it using formatter, and I'm going to format that date so it looks a little bit better for me. Okay, so formatter, and I'm going to do a date and time. Click continue. Transform. Now you can add, subtract, or you can format. I'm just going to format. And that's going to ask you, okay, what's the input? What do you want to format? And this is going to be that move in date. And it's not finding it. So let me type in, I know it's 2020, right? Okay, and I also know it's 0201, I think. Okay, so right there. All right, so there it is. I want to format that. And what format do I want to use? Okay, maybe I want to use this one down here. And that's kind of all I need to do. Continue. And then you can tell it to test. And then that'll be available for me to grab down below. All right, so if I go into this one and customize my document, I can go to that start date. And instead of just pulling it from Podio now, I've already pulled it from Podio in the formatter, I can pull it right here and grab it. Okay, and if you want to change the names of these so that they're easier to understand, like if you have multiple, I can rename this to format start date. Okay. All right, so I got to continue editing this doc. Now for the other dates, I'm not going to format them. They would work the exact same way. Like for this end date, it's really just the move out date. And that's not there either. Now I know the move out date is 2021, so I'm going to type that. And it's on 131. All right, and I know the renewal is 2020 10/31. It's Halloween of this year. Okay, so I didn't format these, which is okay for this sample, but you might want to format those. Who is the tenant? Okay, we obviously need to bring in their name. And then what is garbage day? All right, now I happen to know garbage day is Monday, so I'm going to start typing Monday, and it pulls up. All right, so now what I can do is I can really test this. I can click test and review, and the system will go out and generate this document from the template. All right, so it says that it's done it. So if I go into this folder, and maybe I got to refresh. All right, so it created a document. And if I click on this, I can see it, hopefully. Got it up twice. All right, so let's see how it did. All right, cool. So it populated my merge fields, right? Pretty awesome. I love this stuff, right? It just looks so good. All right. So I'm going to hold off on messing with this too much for now because we got to finish our Zap. An important part of our Zap is we want it to come back to Podio. So in Podio, I've got this field for the Google Doc, and I want to bring that back there. All right, so actually the first step before I bring it back is I actually need to update the sharing preferences because I want to be able to edit this within Podio, and so I need to go and update the sharing preferences so that it is editable there. So I'm going to bring up Google Drive, and I'm going to go to change file sharing preferences. Okay, and it's asking me what drive account, connect that again. Okay, so let's do my Google Drive, and then the file ID is actually the file we just created. So we're gonna do, we're gonna go down to custom values, use a custom value, and the file ID is going to be create document from template ID. We'll pull it in. And then sharing preferences, I want anybody on the internet who has the link can edit it. This will make it so that I can edit it within Podio. Okay. Okay, so let's continue. And now I can test and review. I'm not going to check it over here, but the green means it's looking good. And one more step, all I need to do next is bring in Podio again. Okay, so I can do Podio, and I'm going to update an item. I'm going to tell it what Podio account to use. And again, I'm just grabbing my organization, my workspace, my application. Okay. And then the item to be updated is actually going to be a custom value as well. It's going to be the same exact item that we worked with previously. Okay, so that would be this, and actually it's item ID. Okay, so if you type item ID, it should come in there. Okay, and then you don't have to update anything that we're not changing. The only thing we want to change is the Google Doc link, okay? And this is going to be from the file that we were working with. We have all these cool links that Google gives us, and we're gonna just do this alternate link. Alternate will work. And then we're also gonna pull in a PDF download link, which is kind of cool. So go create document from template. And if we scroll down, we should see a PDF link right there. Okay, and that's all I need to do. And then click continue. And so this would be the last test that we do to see if everything's working, meaning we bring that document link back to the Podio system. Okay, so it says that it worked. And then if I go back to Podio, it looks like it worked. And here's my absolute favorite part of this entire flow. The document populates right here, as well as the PDF download link. All right. And here's what I love about this whole thing. All right. I can kind of make this bigger on my screen. and I can edit this right in here. Okay? For example, and this you cannot do with almost any of the other document solutions that are out there. For example, transferring gas. I have that in here. What if for this tenant, for whatever reason, I was going to keep gas in my name? I can delete this and I can say, for the time being, gas will remain in the name of management. Okay? I can edit that. I can also review that my merge fields worked. Okay? I can look at these and make sure everything looks right. Like, oh, you know, that renewal date is actually, I could change the formatting here if I want. Notice the lease start format versus these that I did not format. I could just go in here and edit these. Of course, you wouldn't want to do that every time, but I could do October 31st, 2021. I can also change the date. So you can do all that kind of editing, which is super helpful. Notice that it brought in the garbage day. And then the highlighting is kind of cool, and you can get rid of the highlighting super quick, right? I can do a select all, and I could just do no highlighting, and it gets rid of it. So like I can have the highlighting on to help me review those merge fields, and then I can quickly turn it off. All right, and now I can do so much with this document. For example, if I click send intro email, maybe I'm sending an email to the tenant with this PDF download link. And when I download, it comes up as a PDF, and it's following the changes that I've made to it. All right, pretty freaking awesome, right? You notice that like that yellow didn't update that quick. This is not going to update, you know, on the fly. This is your source document, and then when I click the download link, it looks perfect. All right, pretty cool, right? So I love this solution, especially if you want the merging to help you create the document, but you're going to be doing some editing after the fact. This is super useful, and it's something that, again, I cannot find a solution that is, one, this inexpensive and that allows you to do that editing within the system itself. Okay, it's a really neat way to do it. So I'm interested to know your thoughts on that. I'm interested to know if you're doing something similar to this. It's been really helpful for a specific client of mine, and I'm certainly going to be using it moving forward. So obviously the Zap, there's a lot of steps in it. You might need a upgraded account to make sure you can handle all that, but I'm telling you, it's kind of worth it. So you know, you'd rename your Zap Podio to Welcome Packet. You can also update these steps as well. All right, and then when you're ready, just turn it on. Okay, so thanks so much for your attention on this. I know that there was a lot to it. It's kind of technical, I guess, and so I really appreciate it. I'm interested in your comments. If you want to see something similar with a different app, if you want to see any other examples within Zapier, feel free to put those in the comments. I'd be happy to demonstrate that for you. All right, and in the meantime, check out all the free resources available at incomedigs.com, and I will see you on the next video.